Bismillah-ir-Rahman-ir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear brothers and sisters, and welcome back to The Inspired Muslim, the channel where we bring to life the stories of Islam's greatest heroes. Today's journey is about a man whose name still echoes through history. A man who was so skilled in battle, so unshakable in courage, and so sharp in strategy that even his enemies respected him. This man was none other than Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah have mercy on him. The man, the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, himself named Sayf Allah al-Maslul, the drawn sword of Allah. Think about that for a second. Out of all the companions of the Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, only Khalid was given this unique title. Why? Because when Khalid took up the banner of Islam, he fought with such brilliance that victory seemed to follow wherever he went. And it wasn't luck, it wasn't chance, it was his faith, his devotion, and the divine support of Allah. But here's what makes Khalid's story so inspiring. He wasn't always on the side of Islam. In fact, in the early days, Khalid stood against the Prophet. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. He was one of the masterminds at the Battle of Uhud, where the Muslims faced a painful setback. Yet, subhanallah, Allah turned his heart, and the same man who once fought against the believers became their fiercest defender. And once he accepted Islam, Khalid never lost a single battle. Not one. From the deserts of Arabia to the mighty Roman and Persian empires, his military genius changed the course of history. Imagine this. Empires that had stood for centuries shook under the weight of Khalid's sword. And yet, despite all his victories, despite being called the greatest general of his time, Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, remained humble, reminding everyone that he was nothing more than a servant of Allah. In his story, we find lessons of courage, humility, and faith. We see how a man can rise from being an enemy of Islam to becoming its shield. And we learn how sincerity and sacrifice can earn someone a place of honor, not just in history, but in the eyes of Allah. So sit back, get comfortable, and prepare to be inspired by the life of Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah have mercy on him, the sword of Allah. 1. Early life. To truly understand the greatness of Khalid ibn al-Walid, we have to start at the very beginning, his childhood in Makkah. Khalid was born into the powerful tribe of Banu Makhzum, one of the noblest clans of Quraysh. The Makhzumites were known for two things: their wealth and their military strength. They produced the best warriors, the fiercest horsemen, and the most skilled commanders of Arabia. In fact, when Quraysh needed a general to lead them into battle, they almost always turned to the men of Banu Makhzum. So, from the very start, Khalid's path was shaped by war and leadership. His father, al-Walid ibn al-Mughira, was one of the wealthiest men in Makkah and a respected chief of Quraysh. Growing up in such a household, Khalid had access to the best training, the finest horses, and the best teachers. While other children played in the streets of Makkah, Khalid was already learning the art of the sword, the tactics of cavalry, and the discipline of a soldier. And subhanallah, from a young age, he showed signs of greatness. He was tall, strong, and fearless. People admired his skill with the spear and his unmatched ability to ride a horse. He could maneuver in battle with speed and precision that left others stunned. By the time Khalid reached adulthood, he was already recognized as one of Quraysh's most promising warriors. But it wasn't just physical strength that set him apart. Khalid had something else, a sharp mind. He was a natural strategist. He could look at the battlefield and immediately understand what to do, where to move, and how to outsmart the enemy. This intelligence, paired with his courage, made him a rising star in Makkah. At this time, Khalid didn't know that Allah was preparing him for something far greater than the glory of Quraysh. While the people of his tribe saw him as their future general, Allah had destined him to be the sword of Islam. But before that transformation, Khalid would walk a different path, one that would first bring him face to face against the Prophet Muhammad. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, and the Muslims. 2. Before Islam, opposing the Prophet. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. Before Khalid ibn al-Walid became the legendary sword of Allah, he walked a very different path, one that put him directly against the Muslims and the Prophet Muhammad. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. At this time, Makkah was a city of tribes fiercely loyal to their own power and prestige. The Quraysh, Khalid's tribe, saw the rise of Islam as a threat to their authority, their wealth, and their traditions. And Khalid, proud and ambitious, stood firmly with his tribe. He quickly gained a reputation as a brilliant military mind and a fearsome warrior. He was strategic, fast, and fearless, the kind of commander who could turn the tide of a battle with one bold move. And when the Quraysh prepared to confront the Muslims, Khalid was often at the forefront. One of the most notable moments of this period was the Battle of Uhud. The Muslims had faced a tough defeat at Badr before, and now the Quraysh sought revenge. Khalid's role in Uhud was pivotal. He led a cavalry attack that outflanked the Muslim forces, creating chaos and confusion on the battlefield. Many Muslim soldiers were unprepared for his maneuvers, and the Muslims suffered significant losses. It was here that Khalid's reputation as a military genius began to spread. Even those on the opposing side recognized his courage, skill, and intelligence. Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, himself observed Khalid's capabilities, though at that time Khalid was an enemy. Yet, this is what makes Khalid's story so remarkable. The same man who once caused great suffering for the Muslims would later become their fiercest defender. The very skills that made him a threat to Islam would, under Allah's guidance, become the very reason Islam spread far and wide. This period of opposition shows us an important lesson. Sometimes people who are our greatest challenges can later become our greatest allies. Khalid's transformation reminds us that Allah can turn the hardest hearts into the strongest supporters of truth. And in the next part of his journey, we'll see exactly how that transformation happened. How Khalid ibn al-Walid embraced Islam and began the path that would earn him the title Sword of Allah. 3. Conversion to Islam. After being one of the fiercest opponents of Islam, Khalid ibn al-Walid's life took a dramatic turn, a turn that would change history forever. The year was around 627 CE, shortly after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, a time when the Muslims were gaining strength and Islam was spreading steadily across Arabia. Khalid, like many Quraysh leaders, began to see that the message of Islam was not just a passing idea, it was the truth. But more importantly, Allah was working on Khalid's heart. Subhanallah, the same man who had led devastating attacks against the Muslims began to reflect deeply. He realized that fighting the Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, and his followers was not a source of honor or glory, it was opposing the truth. And in that reflection, Khalid's heart softened. One day, Khalid accepted Islam. Imagine the shock among Quraysh. The very warrior who had terrified them, the same man who had almost destroyed the Muslims at Uhud, was now a Muslim himself. But it wasn't just a sudden decision, it was a heartfelt commitment. Khalid pledged his loyalty to Allah and the Prophet. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. And he was immediately welcomed by the Muslim community. Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, recognized Khalid's incredible abilities and even said words that would echo through history. This man is a sword of Allah. If he is guided, no one can match his strength. And so, Khalid earned his famous title, Saif Allah al-Maslul, the drawn sword of Allah. Almost immediately, Khalid's skills were put to the test. He participated in the Battle of Mu'tah in 629 CE, facing the mighty Byzantine forces. 3 Muslim commanders fell in battle, but Khalid stepped up. Using his extraordinary courage and strategy, he led the Muslims in a brilliant retreat, saving countless lives and demonstrating that he truly was the sword Allah had entrusted to Islam. This moment marked the beginning of Khalid's legendary career as a Muslim commander. From that point forward, every battle he fought would be for the sake of Allah, not for personal glory, not for wealth, and not for revenge. Khalid ibn al-Walid had transformed from a feared enemy of Islam into its fiercest protector, and it's a lesson that resonates even today. No matter who we were or how far we strayed, Allah can guide even the strongest of hearts to the truth. 4. Early contributions. After Islam. Once Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, embraced Islam, his life took on a completely new purpose. The skills and courage that once opposed the Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, were now used to defend Islam and spread its message. And almost immediately, Khalid proved that he was not just a great warrior, but a man chosen by Allah for extraordinary tasks. One of his first major tests came at the Battle of Mu'tah in 629 CE. The Muslims faced an enormous Byzantine army, tens of thousands of soldiers, while the Muslim forces numbered only a fraction of that. When the 3 commanders of the Muslim army fell in battle, panic could have easily taken over. But not Khalid. With courage, quick thinking, and unmatched strategy, Khalid took command. He organized a disciplined retreat, using clever maneuvers to protect the army from annihilation. His actions that day were nothing short of miraculous. The Muslims survived, and Khalid's brilliance as a commander was solidified. It was after this battle that the Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, gave him the famous title, Saif Allah al-Maslul, the drawn sword of Allah. But that was just the beginning. Khalid went on to play key roles in several important battles that helped secure the survival and growth of the early Muslim community. Battle of Hunain. Despite an initial ambush and chaos, Khalid's leadership helped stabilize the Muslim army, turning potential disaster into victory. Conquest of Makkah. Khalid led strategic maneuvers that ensured a swift, peaceful victory, bringing the city of Makkah under Islam without unnecessary bloodshed. These early contributions were more than just military achievements. They showcased Khalid's loyalty, his humility, and his complete submission to Allah's will. He didn't fight for fame or wealth. He fought because he truly believed in Islam. And through these actions, he inspired countless others to join the cause, knowing that they were following a man of unmatched skill and unshakable faith. Khalid ibn al-Walid had now fully transformed into the sword of Allah, and the stage was set for the battles that would make him a legend across Arabia and beyond. 5. Major battles. under Khalid's command. Once Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, had embraced Islam and proved his loyalty on the battlefield, there was no stopping him. His courage, skill, and divine guidance made him a commander unlike any other. And soon, he would lead the Muslims in some of the most pivotal battles in Islamic history. One of his first legendary campaigns was during the Wars of Apostasy, Ridda Wars, after the death of the Prophet. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. Many tribes tried to break away from Islam, and false prophets like Musaylima claimed leadership. Khalid was sent by Caliph Abu Bakr, may Allah have mercy on him, to restore unity. With brilliant strategy and unshakable courage, Khalid defeated these rebels, solidifying the Muslim state and showing that loyalty to Allah and His Messenger was stronger than any worldly power. Then came the campaigns beyond Arabia, the battles that would etch his name into history forever. The Battle of Yarmouk, 636 CE. This was one of Khalid's most famous victories, where he faced the mighty Byzantine Empire. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Khalid's tactical genius turned the battlefield into a trap for the enemy. His understanding of terrain, formations, and timing was unmatched. In just 6 days, the Muslims secured a decisive victory, opening the door for the expansion of Islam into Syria. Conquest of Syria and Iraq. Khalid led Muslim forces into regions that had been under Persian and Byzantine control for centuries. His brilliance lay not only in attacking but in defending, organizing, and inspiring his troops. Cities that seemed impenetrable fell swiftly under his leadership, often with minimal bloodshed. Battle of Hunain and the conquest of Makkah. Even before these large campaigns, Khalid had shown his prowess by stabilizing Muslim forces in Hunain after initial setbacks, and later by strategically leading the conquest of Makkah, where his actions ensured the city surrendered peacefully. What made Khalid truly exceptional wasn't just his skill with a sword or a strategy. It was his ability to inspire. Soldiers followed him because they trusted him with their lives. He led from the front, sharing the risks and the hardships of battle. Yet despite all his victories, he remained humble, never seeking personal glory. He fought purely for Allah and for the cause of Islam. Through these battles, Khalid ibn al-Walid didn't just secure land for the Muslims. He secured the legacy of Islam itself. His victories allowed the message of Allah to reach regions that might otherwise have remained closed to Islam for centuries. 6. Qualities and leadership style. So what made Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, not just a great soldier, but a legendary commander? The answer lies in his qualities and leadership style, which were unmatched in his time and still studied in military history today. First, Khalid was fearless. He didn't hesitate to charge into battle himself, leading from the front while his soldiers followed with confidence. This wasn't reckless bravery, it was strategic courage. He understood that seeing their commander stand firm inspired his soldiers to fight with unmatched determination. Second, he was a strategic genius. Khalid could read a battlefield like a map, anticipating enemy movements, exploiting weaknesses, and turning potential defeats into stunning victories. Battles like Yarmouk and Mu'tah weren't won by sheer numbers alone. They were won because Khalid understood timing, positioning, and morale better than anyone else. Third, Khalid was incredibly disciplined, both personally and with his troops. He demanded excellence, yet he also led by example. He never asked his soldiers to endure hardships he wasn't willing to face himself. This earned him immense respect and loyalty. Soldiers didn't just follow him out of fear. They followed him because they trusted him with their lives. Fourth, he was humble and loyal to Islam. Despite his victories and fame, Khalid never sought personal glory. Even under Caliph Umar ibn al-Khattab, when he was removed from command to prevent overdependence on him, Khalid accepted the decision without complaint and continued to serve as a soldier. He never let pride dictate his actions. His only goal was the cause of Allah. Finally, Khalid possessed adaptability and decisiveness. Whether facing massive armies or sudden ambushes, he could quickly assess situations, make split-second decisions, and execute strategies flawlessly. This combination of intelligence, courage, and adaptability is what earned him the title Sword of Allah. In short, Khalid ibn al-Walid's leadership wasn't just about skill in battle. It was about inspiring trust, maintaining discipline, showing humility, and always putting the mission above himself. His life teaches us that true leadership combines courage, wisdom, and sincerity. 8. Later, life, even the greatest heroes must face moments of change. And for Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him. One of the most significant was during the caliphate of Umar ibn al-Khattab. May Allah have mercy on him. After years of remarkable victories and securing vast territories for Islam, Khalid's fame had grown tremendously. People admired him, feared him, and in some ways, the army began to rely too much on his leadership. Caliph Umar, in his wisdom, decided to relieve Khalid of his command, not because of any mistake or failure, but to ensure that the Muslim army would remain strong without overdependence on one man. Imagine how difficult that must have been for Khalid. He had spent years leading armies, achieving victories, and commanding respect. Yet, he accepted Umar's decision with complete humility and obedience. He didn't argue, he didn't complain, he didn't seek power or glory. Instead, he continued to serve as a soldier, fighting under new commanders whenever required. This period of Khalid's life teaches a powerful lesson. True greatness is not about holding a title or leading the army. It's about devotion, loyalty, and serving a cause greater than yourself. Khalid fought not for fame, not for wealth, but for the sake of Allah and the protection of the Muslim community. Even in his later years, Khalid remained dedicated, visiting battlefields, advising younger commanders, and offering his wisdom when needed. His humility and unwavering faith set an example for generations, showing that leadership is measured not by recognition, but by service and sincerity. Khalid's later life was a testament to his character, a man of unmatched courage who remained modest, a warrior who never let pride blind him, and a devoted servant of Allah until the very end. 9. His death. After a life filled with battles, victories, and service to Islam, Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, spent his final years in Syria, in the city of Homs. He had fought over 100 battles, from the deserts of Arabia to the great empires of Byzantium and Persia. He had earned the title Sword of Allah, yet he remained humble, devoted, and deeply aware that all his achievements were by the grace of Allah. Subhanallah, despite his unmatched military career, Khalid did not die on the battlefield. He passed away quietly in his home in 642 CE. He reflected on his life with humility, reportedly saying, "I fought in so many battles, yet here I am, dying on my bed like a camel. May the eyes of cowards never sleep." Even in death, Khalid's heart was full of sincerity and loyalty to Allah. He had never sought personal glory. He had fought not for power, not for wealth, but purely for the cause of Islam. His life was a living lesson in courage, discipline, humility, and faith. Khalid ibn al-Walid's legacy did not end with his death. His strategies and leadership are still studied in military academies today. His story inspires Muslims around the world to combine bravery with humility, skill with faith, and success with service. He remains a symbol of devotion to Allah, a warrior whose life reminds us that true greatness comes not from titles or victories alone, but from sincerity, loyalty, and courage in the cause of truth. 9. Legacy. As we look back on the life of Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, it's clear why he is remembered as one of the greatest heroes in Islamic history. His life was more than battles and victories. It was a story of transformation, courage, humility, and unwavering faith. From being a fierce enemy of Islam to becoming the sword of Allah, Khalid's journey teaches us that no heart is beyond the guidance of Allah. Even the strongest, most determined opponent can turn into the greatest supporter once they recognize the truth. His leadership on the battlefield showed the power of strategy, discipline, and inspiration. Khalid didn't just fight with a sword, he fought with wisdom, courage, and faith. He taught us that true leaders serve, protect, and inspire those around them, rather than seeking glory for themselves. Khalid's humility, especially in his later years when he accepted the decision of Caliph Umar to relieve him from command, reminds us that obedience and sincerity to Allah outweigh fame and recognition. Even the greatest heroes can and should serve with humility. Today, Khalid ibn al-Walid's story continues to inspire Muslims around the world. He is a symbol of bravery, strategy, loyalty, and faith. His life encourages us to be courageous in the face of challenges, wise in our decisions, humble in our achievements, and devoted to the cause of truth. So whether you are facing personal battles, striving to lead with integrity, or seeking inspiration from history, remember the life of Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah have mercy on him, the sword of Allah. A man who proved that courage, faith, and humility together create a legacy that lasts forever. And that, my dear brothers and sisters, is the extraordinary life of Khalid ibn al-Walid. May Allah have mercy on him. The sword of Allah. From the bustling streets of Makkah, where he was born into the noble tribe of Banu Makhzum, to the scorching deserts and epic battlefields of Arabia and beyond, Khalid's journey is a story of transformation, courage, and unwavering faith. He was a man who once opposed the Prophet, may Allah's peace and blessings be upon him, standing against Islam with unmatched skill and bravery. Yet Allah's guidance transformed him into one of the greatest defenders of the faith. Imagine that. The very same man who once struck fear into the Muslims became the one they could trust with their lives. That is the power of faith and sincerity. Khalid's victories were legendary. From the Battle of Mu'tah, where he skillfully saved the Muslim army, to Yarmouk, where his strategy shook empires, to the conquests of Syria and Iraq, which secured the spread of Islam far beyond the Arabian Peninsula. But what makes him truly inspiring is not just his strength or his military genius. It is his humility, loyalty, and devotion. Even after being relieved of command by Caliph Umar, may Allah have mercy on him, Khalid accepted the decision without complaint, continuing to serve as a humble soldier. His life teaches us lessons that go beyond battles and swords. Khalid ibn al-Walid reminds us that no heart is beyond Allah's guidance. Transformation is always possible. True courage is paired with wisdom. Bravery without strategy is incomplete. Leadership is not about fame, titles, or power. It is about service, loyalty, and inspiring others. Humility elevates greatness. Even the mightiest heroes serve best when they submit sincerely to Allah. As we reflect on his legacy, let us carry these lessons into our own lives. Whether we face challenges, strive to lead with integrity, or seek inspiration in difficult times, the story of Khalid ibn al-Walid, may Allah have mercy on him, shines as a beacon of hope and guidance. So, my dear viewers, let this be more than just a story. Let it be a call to action, to be brave in your faith, wise in your decisions, humble in your achievements, and sincere in your service to Allah. Just as Khalid's life changed the course of history, your actions can make a difference too, in your home, your community, and your faith. If you were inspired by Khalid ibn al-Walid's incredible journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to The Inspired Muslim. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that lifts your heart and strengthens your faith. And always remember, courage, faith, and humility together create a legacy that lasts forever.